At the end of high school, Rentaro decided to shoot his shot and confessed his feelings to a girl he really liked. This rejection-prone dude wasn't expecting much. But the girl threw him a curveball. "Yeah, I like you, but dating you? No way, that's disgusting." Poor Rentaro was crushed. Later, chatting with his buddy Blondie, he told him what went down. Blondie, kind of in disbelief, couldn't believe Rentaro's awful luck with girls. He asked how many times he'd been rejected, and Rentaro dropped the bomb. 100 rejections. Blondie, impressed and surprised, christened him the Knight of Love. Though skeptical of the high number, he asked for the story of Rentaro's first crush. Rentaro got nostalgic and told him about the time in childhood when he confessed and got the door slammed in his face. Rentaro dreamed of having a girlfriend with those sweet little kisses and stuff. He didn't get why he struck out so much in love, being such a good-looking, chill dude. As high school ended and he said bye to Blondie, Blondie wished him luck in his romantic pursuits. But Rentaro didn't give up. He went straight to the god of love to ask for a girlfriend in college prep school. Sounds like a kid's tale, but the god appeared and said it was all written in the stars and he'd soon meet his soulmate. He explained that Rentaro would feel a spark when he saw her, but it would take him some time to realize it. Rentaro was psyched about the idea, but then the god dropped another bomb. Not one, but 100 girls would fall for him in prep school. And so Rentaro started prep school, excited and eager to meet his destined first love. But on his initial hunt, he bumped into two girls, Hakari and Karane. After the collision, the girls felt an electric vibe and their faces changed when they saw Rentaro. The dude, not wanting to freak them out, tried helping them up, but they got flustered and didn't understand why they suddenly liked him so much. Amidst the chaos, Hakari faked a sprained ankle so Rentaro would help her and ditch Karane. Karane, not wanting to fall behind, also pretended to be hurt. Rentaro, a blubbering mess for injuring his soulmates, made the girls stop faking. But they, wanting to keep up the act, threw themselves back on the ground. And so the girls went clinging to Rentaro like gum on a shoe as he headed to the nurse's office. In the madness, they heard about the magical clovers that supposedly guaranteed your crush wouldn't reject you. The girls, abandoning their theatrics, rushed off to find the clovers as if their lives depended on it. Meanwhile, poor Rentaro got stuck on a rescue mission with a teacher who lost his contact lenses. There Rentaro was, searching for those lenses until night fell. And from the window, he saw the girls still clover hunting, even though it was late. After all that, he went out to look for them. He came across Karane, doing anything but looking for clovers, or so she claimed. "I'm looking for a place to pee," she told him, but she wasn't fooling anyone. Rentaro, ever the gentleman, passed her a soda so she wouldn't get dehydrated. The flustered girl didn't understand what was happening. Rentaro tells the girl it's normal to feel uncomfortable. They just met. She realizes she's been too harsh and decides to cool down a bit. They're alone like she wanted at first. But her mischievous side just won't let her be, and she grabs her drink in a bad mood, telling him she can't help but feel a wave of disgust, almost like she's going to hurl. Yeah, Karane wants to behave, but always screws it up. Rentaro is cool with her and says it's late and she should go home. She keeps letting her inner troublemaker take the stage, saying she already knows and was about to leave. But as she's leaving, she stops, and this time, she doesn't let her inner troublemaker dominate, thanking him for everything. Rentaro is left kinda spellbound and finally realizes that her shitty attitude is because of her inner troublemaker. She just leaves and regrets what she said. Hakari pops in, curious about the drama unfolding. Rentaro tells her he saw what they were doing, so he brought them some drinks. She's about to accept, but then a mischievous idea strikes her and says she can't handle all that and suggests he take the first sip. Rentaro innocently does it and leaves her what was left over. But only then does he get what she wanted to do, but can't stop her. Hakari was getting ready, but that's too much for her and she couldn't do it. Her drink and indirect kiss falling. So she's bummed for being so stupid and thinks she won't get another chance like that. Rentaro notices her skirt got wet and gives her a handkerchief to clean herself. Overwhelmed, Hakari decides it's now or never to confess something major, so she grabs his hand gets nervous, and tells him she likes him and wants to go out with him. Rintaro didn't expect this and doesn't know what to do. She knows it's really sudden, but she's super in love and knows she's not the only one feeling the same. So she had to tell him so she wouldn't regret it, and tells him she just wants him to be her boyfriend. Rintaro still doesn't get it. It's the first time a girl has confessed to him, so he's over the moon and can't help but cry. He was about to say yes to being her boyfriend, but Kurane is left devastated because her friend beat her to it. Kurane's fuming because Hakari totally jumped the gun. Rintaro was listening, and Kurane was still pissed, saying that she also likes Rintaro. He heard it all. But she says it's not that she's in love or anything, but if he wants so badly to be her boyfriend, she can make an exception and accept his proposal. Yeah, that's the most original confession I've seen. Rintaro doesn't look too happy, and she knows she's got to stop letting her wild side call the shots. So she decides to just lay it all out and tells him straight that she's into him and wants to go out with him. Hearing this, Rintaro lights up, but now he's got a tough choice to make, because both of them seem like they're his soulmates. They both come up to him, all eager, waiting to see who he's going to choose. This is tricky, so Rintaro asks the girls for some time to think things through. They both seem really nice, and he thinks it'd be downright impossible to make a decision, but he promised he'd tell them in just one day. So to get some divine guidance, he decides to go to the shrine and ask the god for help with this pickle of a problem. But the god tells him it's impossible. He can't just abandon one soulmate for the other. Rintaro asks what people with two soulmates usually do. There must be some workaround. The god tells him people normally only have one soulmate, but Rintaro is a special case. The god mentions he's the god of love and assigns people's soulmates when they're born. But with Rintaro, he made a teensy oversight. He was distracted watching his favorite show and accidentally assigned Rintaro 100 soulmates instead of just one. Rintaro complains a bit about this snafu. As a god, he should be more careful. Rintaro would be happy as a clam with just one person. The god tells him there's something very important he needs to know. When you find your soulmate, you must love each other and be together forever. But if you reject your soulmate, no matter which one, she'll die. So if Rintaro only stays with one girl, the other will end up kicking the bucket. He goes home feeling half dead because instead of solutions, he just found more problems. Now he doesn't have a clue what to do because he doesn't want either girl to bite the dust. So he gets a brilliant idea. He'll bring the girls together and tell them he won't date either one. But then he'll talk to each of them separately and secretly date both girls without the other finding out. Rintaro thinks this plan will work out perfectly. It's the only way he can save them both from the Grim Reaper. The big day finally arrives, and the girls want to know who he'll choose. But Rintaro looks totally exhausted and disheveled, like he got run over by a bus. The girls ask why he looks so rough. Rintaro tells them it's no big dealio and not to worry their pretty little heads about it. They've been waiting too long already and demand to know who he'll pick. His original plan was to reject them both and then date them in secret. But in that moment, he thinks things through clearly. He realizes they directly confessed their feelings and asked him out. It took some major guts. Rintaro has confessed his feelings 100 times before, so he knows how hard it is. It wouldn't be right to trick them. He wants to honestly tell them how he feels without fearing the consequences. So he bravely tells them that he wants to date both of them. Rintaro explains he thought long and hard but just can't decide on one girl. That would be impossible for this Casanova. He really likes them both a lot and wants them to be his girlfriends. He knows it's an unusual request and they might not like the idea, but it's what he truly wants. Rintaro tells them that if they accept, he'll make them both very happy campers. Kurane doesn't agree and rejects the idea straight away, telling him off. But Rintaro shows them the legendary four-leaf clover he found. Kurane asks how he found it when they all searched, but never saw hide nor hair of it. Rintaro says he asked the teacher with glasses for permission to search the school and looked all night and day just to have it when he popped the question. Hakari is touched by this and says she wouldn't mind sharing him. Kurane still thinks it's a bad idea, but Rintaro is her soulmate and she doesn't want anyone else. And it seems they both have feelings for this rascal. Hakari goes up to Rintaro and says it would be an honor to be his girlfriend. Kurane also approaches him and says she'll accept too, but if he doesn't treat her right, he'll regret it something fierce. Rintaro assures them they don't need to worry their pretty heads. He'll make them the happiest girlfriends ever. But he reminds them this is just the beginning, and there are still 98 more soulmates to go. Well, the next day, Rintaro is walking to school, super excited because he has 2 girlfriends. Happily, he mentions it to a lamppost while passing by. The riveting conversation went well, but then his girlfriends show up. Kurane freaks out and asks why he's talking to a lamppost. Rintaro tells her he's just really happy and mentions to the lamppost that he has 2 cute girlfriends now. Kurane gets really excited when Rintaro compliments her, but she plays it cool and tells him he should save the gossip for her instead of talking to the lamppost. Inside, though, she tries not to show too much interest. Suddenly, Hakari grabs Rentaro's hand and says what a lovely day it is. Rintaro is over the moon. He always dreamed of having a girlfriend to hold hands with. Meanwhile, Kurane is burning with jealousy. Hakari squeezes Rentaro's hand even tighter, and he can't contain his joy, complimenting how soft her hand feels. Hakari thinks a boy's hand should be big and strong, and she knows they love having their hand held. Still jealous, Kurane also takes Rentaro's hand. She tries to act casual, but inside she's thrilled. Kurane plays hard to get, saying she's only doing it to bring them closer, but really, she's super nervous. She doesn't get what's so special about Rintaro, but admits she finds him fascinating. Rintaro feels like the luckiest guy in the world with 2 girlfriends. When he wants to ask them something, he calls Hakari by her last name, and she stops him. She doesn't like that at all. She asks him to use her first name instead. Rintaro happily agrees, and she calls him by his first name too, although they both blush bright red. Not one to be left out, Kurane also wants him to use her first name, even though her pride won't let her ask directly. Knowing her well already, Rintaro also calls her by her first name, leaving her flustered. They arrive at school holding hands, and everyone looks at them. But the vice principal interrupts, running after a student. Hakari comments on how strict she is, known as the Old Supersonic. If she catches you, you're done for. The vice principal easily catches the student, and for some reason sticks her tongue out at him before severely punishing him. Things get even weirder when Hakari keeps talking about the vice principal's tongue and asks Rintaro if he's kissed anyone before. Honestly, he says no, never. The girls go into competitive mode, both thinking about who will give him his first kiss. Later, while eating together, Kurane gets distracted by a cat. Hakari seizes the chance to impress Rintaro, feeding him mouth to mouth and asking if he likes it. Thrilled, Rintaro says it's the best thing ever. Not one to be outdone, Kurane offers him cookies, clarifying she didn't bake them just for him. She tries feeding them to him mouth to mouth, but they end up in Rintaro's eye. Poor guy. Still, he says they're the best cookies ever. Hakari has a super special plan with some chocolate sticks. You can't pick them up with your hands, so she takes them in her mouth to pass to Rintaro. They get super close, about to kiss, but Kurane can't allow it. She tries the same thing, but ends up poking a stick in Rintaro's other eye. Oh man, Kurane. At this rate, you're never gonna win Rintaro's heart. Girl, you're a disaster. Can't you be at least a little suave? Come on, get it together before Hakari sweeps him off his feet completely. Rintaro tries to explain he nearly went blind, but Kurane jumps in with a crazy excuse. She says a kiss will cure everything. Obviously, she just wants to smooch him, but Hakari barges in and literally blows Kurane away. Sly as she is, Hakari wants to take his temperature with her lips. What a move. Things get out of hand and the two start an all-out brawl over who gets to kiss Rintaro first. Poor guy stuck between a rock and a hard place. Tells them to chill out and that if they want to kiss him so badly, they could have just asked. But who will go first is the dilemma. Rintaro, always the thinker, has a plan. They'll all cover their eyes and ears, and he'll try to kiss them without knowing who he's kissing. Then they'll switch, so there's no way to know who went first. Brilliant. But, as in any good anime, things go awry. Rintaro, unable to see or hear, touches something that is definitely Hakari. So much for the mystery plan. Hikari, ever opportunistic, capitalizes on the sitch, but Karane realizes something happened and busts in. They restart the plan, but this time a cat causes mayhem, bumping into Karane. She thinks it's Rentaro and goes with it until the frisky feline gets too fresh and Karane, furious, kicks Rentaro without realizing it was the cat. After several failed attempts and a nearly hospitalized Rentaro, the girls start beefing. Karane accuses Hikari of trying to get frisky with Rentaro, and Hikari volleys back that she almost sent him to the ER. Rentaro, exasperated, says it's because he's an inexperienced boyfriend and walks away. The girls tail him, but can't keep up. In a twist, Rentaro calls on the old supersonic vice principal to nab him, and quick as the flash, she does. But she plans to steal his first kiss. Karane stops the speedy vice principal. School rules reminder. Sly Hikari calls the education inspector to intervene instead. The vice principal, having no choice, backs off. Rentaro is safe for now. The girls approach him, asking why he called the old supersonic. Rentaro tells them he loves them and wants them to get along. Fed up with the fight over his first kiss, Rentaro almost lets the old supersonic jack it. But Hikari and Karane pump the brakes. No way, they say. You're not kissing someone you don't want to. Better, they suggest, for him to kiss either of them. Order regardless. Rentaro is surprised, as he had thought of that, but assumed they wouldn't go for it. But the girls are clear. They want him equally, and don't care anymore who gets the first kiss. Rentaro floats the idea of a three-way kiss to resolve the first smooch issue. At first, the girls blush, not totally convinced, but hey, what wouldn't they do for their guy? So up they go on the rooftop in a scene straight out of a rom-com, the three of them sharing a landmark kiss, and everyone's happy. The next day, in the library, Rentaro and his girlfriends dive into book hunting. Hikari and Karane, with the eyes of budding chefs, are on the prowl for some top-notch cookbooks to impress Rentaro. Karane is all jazzed, though, of course, she won't admit it's for Rentaro. She comes across a book that promises to win a man over through his stomach. Hikari is right there too, and they inevitably start competing again. Peacemaker Rentaro reminds them there's no need to fight. They even share a three-way kiss. The girls turn red as beets at the comment. For his part, Rentaro is on the hunt for a love book, and just when he finds one that seems perfect, another girl appears interested in the same book. What a coinkydink. Rentaro and the girl lock eyes, and zing! Like electricity, Rentaro feels like he's just met his third soulmate. Plot twist. The girl, all nervous and blushing, starts to walk away, but Rentaro tells her to take the book first. The girl, surprised, uses the book to communicate. Turns out she's the librarian, but she communicates through the book because speaking is not her thing. Rentaro, trying not to make noise in the library, gestures to her, but the girl doesn't understand and asks why he's not speaking. Rentaro, not wanting to, asks her the same question. She, even more nervous, apologizes for not communicating well and offers to find someone else to help Rentaro. But he, in a gesture of understanding, asks her to be the one to help him find that special book. She happily agrees, and Rentaro asks her to recommend a love story with a happy ending. Looks like she also likes her job. And something more. In the library, Shizuka is on a mission, searching for books everywhere. Though petite, man, can she hustle. Rentaro only asks for a love story, but she comes back with a mountain of books. Rentaro's jaw drops, thinking, how am I going to read all this? Seeing Rentaro's face, Shizuka apologizes. She didn't mean to overwhelm him and tells him to just take the ones he liked. But Rentaro, seeing the effort Shizuka made, dives in and decides to take them all, telling her he's going to devour every page. The only catch is he needs a special card to check them all out, and that card takes a week to arrive. Rentaro is bummed, wondering what to do now. But Shizuka, with a heart too big for her chest, offers her book, the one she always carries and isn't from the library. Rentaro is taken aback and asks if she's sure about that. Shizuka nods decisively. Rentaro thanks her immensely for her generosity and asks her name. She shows him her ID, Shizuka. Plus, Rentaro finds out she's in his same class, though he'd never noticed her before. She tells him that when he finishes the book, he can return it. Meanwhile, Hikari and Karane are still in their cooking bubble, looking for recipes to impress Rentaro. Rentaro shows up and compliments them for being so studious. Hikari tells him she's immersed herself in cookbooks, with the idea of learning lots of recipes to make him happy. Karane is doing the same, but her pride won't let her say it out loud. Rentaro feels over the moon, thinking he has the most thoughtful girlfriends ever. Later at home, Rentaro starts reading Shizuka's book. It's a story about a princess and a knight, an old-fashioned romance. The princess names him her knight. He vows to protect her with his life. But one day, a dragon threatens to do away with the princess. The knight arrives just in time, and after an epic battle, manages to save her, though he is wounded. As the princess tends to his injuries, sparks fly between them. They decide their love is more important than any difference in status and give themselves to each other. But in total drama, the princess is engaged to another. The knight, loyal to his vow, wants to protect her at all costs. Rentaro is glued to the story, but he devours it in the blink of an eye and already needs the next volume. The next day, Shizuka is waiting for Rentaro with the second volume. Rentaro approaches, thanks her for the book, and tells her he wolfed it down in no time. Shizuka, with a shy attack, pulls the second volume from her bag and gives it to Rentaro. He, excited to see how the story continues, appreciates the gesture. Shizuka is dying of embarrassment, but Rentaro tells her she's been a real peach and he wants to return the favor. He suggests she accompany him for a moment, and she agrees. Meanwhile, Hikari and Karane, in their recipe and cooking bubble, are oblivious to it all. Looks like they're getting along better and better. What a twist this story is taking. They're just chilling outside, and Rentaro says, "You really love reading, huh?" Shizuka just nods shyly. Rentaro tells her he's been hooked on cheesy romance novels lately, and her book is the most he's read in ages. Shizuka giggles a little and shows him her favorite, The Misunderstanding Between the Princess and Knight. She's had that book since she was tiny and knows it by heart. Rentaro is amazed. "How do you remember it all? You've got a real talent." Shizuka grows embarrassed. "Oh, stop. It's not that special." For her, that book is like her security blanket. She's read it thousands of times. She thanks Rentaro for being so nice to her, for being the only one who doesn't avoid her. Rentaro doesn't get it. Why would anyone avoid you? Shizuka just smiles faintly. Then Rentaro asks to borrow the first part of the book again. She gives it to him, wondering what he's up to. Then she heads back to the library. The librarian notices she seems cheerful and asks if something fun happened. Shizuka gets nervous and says, "Nah, everything's the same. She's just doing her librarian thing." But she can't stop thinking about Rentaro. The next day, she brings him the third part of the novel, pumped with excitement. But Rentaro's a no-show. She keeps bringing the book to school, wondering why Rentaro doesn't come around anymore. Finally, she finds him, but it's a letdown. Rentaro's with Karane and Hikari, and it looks like they're dating. Shizuka watches them and starts to get why Rentaro can't see her anymore. Rentaro tenderly hugs his girlfriend, thanks her for being so thoughtful, and she's overjoyed. Karane doesn't want to be left out and goes in for a kiss too, but ends up headbutting him. Shizuka sees all this and realizes Rentaro has a girlfriend, which makes her a little bummed. After all, he's her soulmate. So Shizuka starts thinking that, of course, Rentaro didn't ask for the third book. He doesn't have to read all day, and she shouldn't get her hopes up. She's never had friends before, so why would that change? Her past comes flooding back when her friends mocked the way she communicated through her book, saying she was odd. Her mom thought so too, yelling at her for not talking like other kids and demanding she speak. Little Shizuka just wept, apologizing for not being able to communicate. Back in the present, Shizuka is sitting on the floor thinking about Rentaro. She decides no one would want to chat with someone like her, so she should just forget him. She goes back to the library, trying to focus on work but can't stop thinking about Rentaro. Just then, he shows up. Rentaro says he's been looking for her and wants to thank her for the books and chat a little. He suggests she download an app on her phone. Shizuka does it, unsure what Rentaro is planning. When she opens the app, she sees the first part of her book in digital format. Rentaro has worked hard to help her. It's a reading program that reads selected text aloud, so she can communicate without having to look at her book all the time. Rentaro explains this way she can make eye contact when speaking. He says he gets that talking must be hard for her, but wants to assist. Nervously, Shizuka chooses some text and, through the robotic voice, confesses that she likes Rentaro. She breaks down sobbing, apologizing, and saying she doesn't expect a reaction. She knows Rentaro's heart belongs to someone else, but she wants him to know how she feels. Rentaro, surprised, says he likes her too. Even though fate seems against them, like the princess and knight in the book, he believes they can defy it and be together. He hugs her, promising no one will tear them apart. Later, Rentaro goes to Hakari and Karane. He asks if Shizuka can be his new girlfriend. Karane is shocked, asking if he's lost his mind. Hakari gets misty-eyed hearing Rentaro, but it's not from sadness. She's thrilled. She thinks it's wonderful that Rentaro is falling for another girl. Karane, on the other hand, thinks they've both lost it. Rentaro explains his love for them is still strong, and having another girlfriend doesn't change that. He says his love is like an oil field, and Shizuka just tapped into a new deposit to join the team. Karane gets irritated at the fuel analogy, but Rentaro insists he cares for them and will now cherish them even more. Karane calms down with this explanation. Rentaro says if they ever feel he doesn't adore them, just speak up and he'll do anything, even take a trip to the afterlife, though they think he's exaggerating. In the end, everyone is happy and Rentaro has a new girlfriend. Then Rentaro introduces Shizuka, who knew nothing about this. Rentaro explains that Hakari and Karane are his girlfriends, and now she's girlfriend number 3. Hakari and Karane want to meet this new girl. Shizuka greets them awkwardly through her phone, but they think she's odd for not speaking. Rentaro tells them about her communication challenges, using phrases from her favorite book. Hakari and Karane are okay with it, but since Shizuka is too formal, Karane asks her to just use their names. Rentaro shares that Shizuka is a bookworm librarian. He also says Shizuka makes cute gestures when reading, happy or scared, embarrassing her since she wasn't aware. Rentaro also describes Hakari and Karane's mannerisms. He says Hakari touches her lips when thinking and sucks them in when focused, which he finds charming. Hakari is shocked and feels a little indecent, and he says when Karane tries to ignore him and acts tough, she plays with her hair, which he finds cute. The three feel glad but self-conscious that Rentaro watches them so closely. Then Rentaro mentions how Hakari and Karane kiss, further embarrassing them. Curious, Shizuka awkwardly asks if they've kissed yet, confusing Rentaro. Clarifying she means if he's kissed Hakari and Karane, she shows interest in kissing. Hakari asks if she wants to kiss Rentaro, shaming her more. Shizuka says she'd rather wait until marriage, apologizing for the delay. Rentaro assures there's no rush. He'll wait until she's ready, and doesn't mind being patient. Hakari and Karane are all hyped up and ready to kiss Rentaro. Hakari even feeds him food directly, and Karane does the same, always competing, you know. Shizuka, more chill and hanging back, just watches everything without getting much involved. Rentaro notices and realizes it won't be easy for Shizuka to fit in with them. So he whips out some cards to play Old Maid, suggesting the winner tickles the loser. The girls, super excited, seem more interested in losing so Rentaro can tickle them. Karane loses first, and Rentaro gears up to tickle her. She tries to act all tough, saying it doesn't affect her, but soon gets a bit, let's say, excited about the tickles. Then it's Hakari's turn, who gets so into it she partially strips her uniform to feel the tickles better, which makes Karane tell her to behave. Hakari can't hold back and ends up with quite a funny face until she decides to stop because it's too much for her. When it's Shizuka's turn, Rentaro's curious about how her laugh will be. As he tickles her, she just laughs silently, using her phone to mimic the laughter. Rentaro didn't expect that, but he's happy just watching Shizuka's cute expressions and continues tickling. Hakari and Karane, watching, plot to make Rentaro lose, wanting to tickle him too. Their plan works, and Rentaro loses, but it's Shizuka who wins and has to tickle him. She's nervous and shy, barely touching him with her finger, while Rentaro laughs to play along. Hakari wonders why Shizuka isn't taking advantage of the chance, realizing her innocence and shyness are what attract Rentaro. Shizuka is honest and delicate, and her natural charm makes everyone want to protect her, making her an unbeatable foe for Hakari and Karane. Rentaro excuses himself to the bathroom, leaving the girls alone. Karane takes the chance to confront Shizuka, asking why she's holding back if it's because of them. Shizuka replies she's just being her usual self, but Karane insists, saying she knows Shizuka's been distant from Rentaro the whole time, even when she had the chance to tickle him. Hakari teases Karane, saying Shizuka is probably scared of her because she's always yelling. Shizuka decides to be real with them, telling them they were Rentaro's first girlfriends, and she just got there, so she shouldn't interfere. Karane gets annoyed and tells her she's his girlfriend now too. She shouldn't hold back just because she's the newbie. It really bugs her that Shizuka isn't more upfront. Hakari teases Karane, saying she's the same, not admitting things. Shizuka apologizes and admits they're right. Karane gets close and tells her she needs to change. Shizuka mentions her fear paralyzes her. Karane thinks she's referring to being scared of her, but Shizuka explains her fear is because they seem like perfect girlfriends, and she doesn't compare. She says Hakari is graceful, elegant, and super charming. Karane has beautiful features and is so confident. Shizuka mentions it's impossible for her to be like them. If Rentaro compared them, the difference would be huge, and that's exactly what she's scared of. Hakari and Karane are amazed because she said it in such a sweet way and say Shizuka is just super adorable, but she keeps putting herself down. She says she's just a normal girl and her personality is sad and reserved. She can't match them no matter how hard she tries. Karane tells her she's also really cute, small, delicate, and has many things that make her beautiful and especially unique. She shouldn't put herself down so much, and apologizes for being a bit harsh on her earlier. Hakari also tells her not to worry. Rentaro's love is deeper than she can imagine, and he definitely sees her as very beautiful. She's sure he could list 100 good things about her cuteness. Karane tells her from now on she doesn't have to hold back. She doesn't have to worry about them, and just needs to tell Rentaro what she really wants. Hakari also tells her to just call them by their names. After all, they're all Rentaro's girlfriends and should get along and trust each other. Meh, yeah. Let's say they all became friends now. Rentaro was watching them the whole time. It was all part of his plan. He never went to the bathroom. He just wanted them to stay alone to get to know each other better and get along without him. He noticed Karane was giving Shizuka the cold shoulder and thought they might end up fighting. Hakari had the same problem, and he wanted to see how they would act, but he didn't expect them to get along so well as they are now. He says everything turned out better than he expected, and starts crying about it. He comes back to see his girlfriends. Karane tells him Shizuka will redo the earlier punishment because she can touch him and really tickle him this time. Shizuka's a bit nervous, but Hakari encourages her to do it. She's surprised because Hakari and Karane are helping her. She thinks she shouldn't let them down and should do her best. She remembers Karane's words. Karane had told her not to hold back, and if she wanted to do something with Rentaro, she should tell him. So she gathers her courage and tells him she also wants to kiss him. Everyone is shocked by that. But Shizuka says she doesn't want to wait until marriage anymore. That was just an excuse, and she wants Rentaro to kiss her now. Rentaro is happy about that. It means a lot to him. Shizuka already told him, but she never experienced these kinds of things and doesn't know what to do in these situations. She just gets ready and waits for Rentaro to kiss her. Rentaro finds her too cute and strokes her hair. She keeps waiting for the kiss, but Rentaro tells her he couldn't help but stroke her hair because she's just too adorable. She lowers Rentaro's hand to her cheek as a sign for him to kiss her. Rentaro doesn't want to make her wait, so he kisses her. But she's dying of embarrassment and freezes. Hakari and Karane, thrilled, also want to kiss Rentaro. Hakari goes first, asking for a kiss, unable to wait any longer. Rentaro, agreeing, gets ready to kiss her. Hakari, with her eyes closed, asks if he still likes her and loves her the same way as Shizuka. Rentaro assures he loves them all equally. They're the cutest girlfriends in the world. Hakari, happy with his confirmation, receives her kiss, looking totally smitten. Now it's Karane's turn, wanting to kiss him, but her pride getting in the way. She acts tough, telling him if he's so desperate, then she'll do him the favor. Rentaro, amused by her attitude, asks why she's coming closer if she's not interested. Karane, trying to keep up her act, insists she's not interested. But Rintaro hugs her, telling her she's cute when she acts tough. She gets embarrassed and pushes him away, but then regrets it, not wanting to be mean to him. Rintaro expresses his desire to kiss her. Karane, thoughtful, finally admits she wants to kiss him too. Rintaro doesn't wait any longer and kisses her. The three of them are happy after these moments. Rintaro, thoughtful, gets asked by Karane why he's looking so pensive. He tells them he's just really lucky and grateful to be with them. The three of them are overwhelmed with happiness.